Hello.
Hello. We are once again without Atlas because of
Your mic
unspecified
is
reasons. Hmm? Is my mic muted? The fuck? Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Oh wait, just kidding. I'm stupid. Sorry. My
Okay.
shit was muted. My fault.
Okay. So I've been sitting here talking just fine.
Oh, my fault. I did the
Okay.
thing and I forgot.
So yes, we are without Atlas for unspecified reasons.
All right.
How are you doing this week, Matt?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
I'm chilling.
Anything exciting happening?
Not at all.
God, we are the two most boring hosts on the channel.
That's true. I don't do anything interesting.
Yeah, I know. I just sit at home, don't even really play video games. I just kind of sit at home, locked in on nothing. I'm
Why
locked
don't you
in
play
to be
video
locked in.
Why don't you play video games?
That's a great question. My brain is just Swiss cheese these days. I'll like play a video game for like 30 minutes and get bored immediately. Which maybe I'm just playing the wrong video games.
Yeah, you should play Expedition 33.
I've definitely thought about it.
That game is great.
I have also sorted out my hotel situation for Summerfest.
Oh yeah, that was tragic.
Yeah. It's okay, I'll just guilt trip Atlas into giving me his entry promo. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I guess I had fun with dinner prep yesterday. Or was it? No, it was Wednesday. It felt like it should have been yesterday, but it was Wednesday. But yeah, I had a great time with dinner prep on Wednesday because, you know, usually after work, I'll go out to the grocery store just to like go out for a walk, get some exercise, and just pick up anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, before I went out, I figured, all right, I could put rice in the rice cooker, let that go. By the time I get back, it'll be done. And so, you know, I did the usual. I washed the rice, I threw it in the rice cooker, and then I turned it on. I forgot to add water.
Oh no.
Yeah. Luckily, nothing like tragic happened. It didn't burn or anything. It's just a bunch of dry, slightly warm rice sitting in the rice cooker when I got home.
Miserable. At least nothing awful happened.
Yeah. And then, so, you know, I put it in, turned the rice cooker back on. Once the rice cooker was done, made a little like packet of curry, just like the Japanese curry packets, because, you know, I figure I could have some curry with some meat for dinner. And then I realized, like, right, I forgot to cook the meat. Because the plan was that I was going to, like, cook the meat first and let it rest while the curry heats up. But I forgot to do that. So I have this plate of rice and curry with no meat. So I have to go back and make the meat. And by the time I was done, of course, the plate was cold. But the rice was still kind of warm, so I didn't really want to microwave it. So I just kind of had to eat, like, lukewarm curry and rice.
That's awful.
But yeah, that was great. That was just like a comedy of errors for my dinner on Wednesday.
Well, I'm sorry that happened.
Yeah. Aside from that, I guess I do still play a bunch of gacha games for no reason because I hate myself and my wallet.
All right, but what are your thoughts on Uma Musume?
No opinion.
Okay.
I don't know. I just end up playing weird shit. Like, there's a new Madoka gacha game, and it sucks, but I'll play it anyways because I'm stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm also playing Heaven Burns Red, which finally released the like crossover event with Angel Beats.
Angel Beats.
Yeah. God, it's been like a decade since I've watched that show.
You know, I guess it was bound to happen eventually.
Yeah. Like, oh no. Like, I have to think about something and realize, oh no, I'm fucking old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Aside from that, it also released a bunch of quality of life updates, which means there was a 12-hour maintenance and everything is broken.
Average.
Oh yeah, the Angel Beats crossover was, eh. It exists. Like I didn't find the story very compelling. Like as a
I mean, yeah.
yeah, like as a crossover, it didn't do a great job because the teams only minimally interacted with each other, and then like the very end of the story centered around a character I forgot existed and mostly took place from her perspective after she was dead.
Wait, which character? Which character?
It was like the drummer in the band. Yeah, I know, right? Like I don't.
Who is this character?
I don't fucking know, but yeah, like she was one of the three characters. The other two were Yuri and Kanade. The two characters anyone would actually recognize.
Yeah.
And then for some reason the drummer was there, and I guess the story was about her, which sure, or this like the story was secretly about her the entire time, which sure, I guess, like Angel Beats was meant to be like twice as long as it ended up being, so half the characters are literally who. So if you want to use your like current gacha game as a way to explore all of the characters that you didn't have time to write when you wrote Angel Beats, like, yeah, sure, go for it. But like the actual story being told was also just us watching a different key visual novel being played out from the perspective of this character after she died.
Incredible.
So it was like this tragic thing where like she died because of a prank that went wrong, and her ghost is just sitting in her grave watching everyone else's life go wrong around her because of the death before one of the guys heroically draws everyone back together and they all move on with their lives. And it's like, cool. So I'm sure this would be all really great and moving if I was in the perspective of the guy that brought everyone back together and not the tragically dead person who cannot influence the story in any way. And also, it didn't help that this is a literally who character, and this entire backstory has told me nothing about this character. So, that was basically today as I played that update and was like, wow, this kind of sucks. That happens. Like, key stories are already like always kind of messy, and like whether or not they hit emotionally is just kind of a coin toss.
Yeah, I think Jun Maeda is particularly bad writing something that has to be short.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that needs to be concise is just absolutely miserable by that guy.
Yeah, and he just has like a habit of like forcing like tragedy and drama into stories even when they like don't necessarily need it. Like, no, you have to cry at this story. Like, we cannot let the story end until we have a tearjerker moment for the audience. Like, one of the event stories for Heaven Burns Red is just there's a character who's literally a tiger. And so the story was just like the tiger takes care of a stray cat. But because the story has to make you cry, like the stray cat goes back to the herd of all the other stray cats, but all the other cats forgot it and it dies. And so everyone just hates that one because it's like, why the fuck is the silly story about a tiger taking care of a stray cat ending with the cat dying? Like, did we need to do that?
Weird.
Yeah. But, that's just his writing sometimes. So yeah, that was my Friday.
Look, the last Jun Maeda work that I interacted with was fucking Charlotte.
Oh.
And it was if anyone's it's not worth watching probably.
Mm-hmm.
But basically it's about Not Archer collecting Not swords, and also there are terrorists who can somehow know if the timeline has changed or something. Look, don't ask how all these things work together, but they're always terrorists for some reason. And I don't know how Key does it. They're always terrorists. Look, I don't know how they do it. I don't know where they get it from.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
I guess last week. What'd you say?
Oh, I was gonna say at one point I'm gonna play the 100 line game, but I'm not. I'm gonna wait till it's like $20 instead because it's a strategy RPG and / visual novel. So I don't want to commit the full 60 to it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did I tell the blood test story last week? I don't think I did.
I didn't. I don't remember it.
Yeah, I guess the other thing I can talk about, like last week, I went to take a blood test because my family has every health problem under the sun, so I gotta keep on top of that shit.
True.
And so I guess my doctor just ordered like everything because they took like 8 vials of blood from me. So, I was sitting there and like the nurse had already walked in with like a fistful of vials. I'm like, all right, that's what, like 4 or 5 vials? That's relatively normal. I've had that before. And then she reached back into the drawer and pulled out more vials. I'm like, oh, we're going to be here for a little bit, huh?
Last time I had blood drawn, I was like, after set up this whole thing, and then like it takes like 2 minutes, and I'm like, okay,
well, yeah,
have a nice day.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there looking at it like, man, you got enough blood there to make like a second root beer, like whatever the fucking woke lizard people need to overthrow the government, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, put 8 chips in you.
Yeah, I know.
Don't ask how it works, because nobody knows, but they put 8 chips in you somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we can talk about the fucking president of Bushiroad praising Trump, because that was a thing that happened the other day. Cool.
I saw it, but I didn't read it. Hold on. Let me take a peek. See here.
Yeah. Like, we're not going to dive that
strongest
deeply.
Salesman.
Yeah, the strongest salesman. He's just so good at it, Like, last week, everyone was mad that the Switch is $900, so the tariffs are 30%. Next week, they'll be 300% because he's mad at Bruce Springsteen right now.
And there's also the jet that, like, he got gifted by Qatar.
Oh, yeah. There's so much shit. Everything is awful. Everything sucks and we're all going to die, I guess.
I'm actually shocked that Kadani is allowed to have a Twitter.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it does explain, the state of Vanguard currently.
Bushiroad decisions are weird enough, and this is I'm starting to understand, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. Trump is the master of walking his dumb decisions back. Don't worry. Next, he's already talking about increasing the tariffs again. It's fine. Next week, everything will randomly triple in price again because he's mad at Bruce Springsteen.
Incredible.
Yeah. All right. And on that lovely note, let's talk about new cards because there's like 2.5 weeks of reveals that we haven't done. That's the entire stream is just going to be new cards because Atlas isn't here to play games.
True. All right, boot up Under Night in Birth Root, man. That's only answer.
I mean, I could maybe get some progress in Battle Network 5. I've just been sitting on the like water level for 5 years and I just haven't finished it.
Boot up Melty Blood type Lumina. Let's do it.
Do I have type Lumina?
I don't know. That game's cool though. It's hard. I haven't practiced that game, so I'm gonna drop all my Akiha combos.
It's okay. I just don't know how to do a fighting game combo. I keep trying and then I just don't do it.
It takes a little bit of practice, especially like if you're like super new to fighting games, right?
Pretty much.
Like you've not played any before. Okay, yeah, it's gonna take a little bit of time.
Like I've played some, but only on a very casual level.
Yeah, it's a bit hard. The anime games can be I'm not gonna say harder necessarily, but they're a little bit weird as a starting point, just because like the combos are kind of like the appeal of those games.
Yeah,
but they're like baby routes you can do with pretty much every character. So, like I think the combo trials should have some like easier routes that you can start with. But don't worry about like the intermediate and up combos. If you can't do them, it's not a huge deal.
Yeah.
Focus on getting comfortable pressing buttons and moving around.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna have to do that a lot.
Yeah.
And you don't want to have to think about how you're moving every time.
Yeah. Well, the fuck is this? crit. Oh yeah, and speaking of playing games competitively, I have not been to locals for the last little while because last week was Mother's Day, so no one signed up, and I wasn't gonna go if there's only like 6 people. And then this week is Beta Breakers, which is like an annual marathon that happens where everyone dresses up in silly costumes, and I'll probably get on the bus and see someone's penis just hanging out.
Hell yeah.
San Francisco, baby! So, you know, a bunch of roads are closed and there's going to be a ton of traffic, so there's just no way I'm going out this weekend either. So I'm not going to get to play Vanguard for a little bit until basically Summerfest, which also impacts my ability to make deck profiles, because I don't like making deck profiles until I've had a chance to actually like play games with the deck. All right. Anyways, time to catch up on like 2.5 weeks of new cards. I'm holding you hostage for the next 30 minutes, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm here. All right. We need to read this one though.
Yeah. Well, first up, we have the reveal from 2 Thursdays ago, Nebula Knights. So this is a archetype from the Youthquake manga. I keep wanting to call it Youth Berk, but that's a different thing. So they are an archetype from the Youthquake manga that are kind of a mixture of just kind of every paladin and oracle think tank. So we have Nebula Knight of Succession Sirius, the starter, and then Guided Nebula Knight Sirius. So when it's placed on top of the grade 0, you reveal the grade 3 from your ride deck, search your deck for Nebula Knight of Desire Corneus, and call it to rearguard circle, and then shuffle. Then we have okay, this was Guided Nebula Knight. This one is the Glorious Nebula Knight Sirius. So when Rotacon by a grade 3 Sirius, Soul Blast 1, look at top 7, add a Nebula Knight. And then on Intercept, if your unit with Nebula Knight is being attacked, it gets 5k. And then, oh, this is out of order. I'm going to read the grade 1 Cornelius first. So, Nebula Knight of Desire Cornelius. So when this unit boosts a grade 3 or greater Nebula Knight for this battle, it gets 2k. Then you can discard a card from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a trigger, choose one of your opponent's front row rear guards in the same column, retire it, and then put the revealed card back on top or bottom. And then the grade 2 version of Corneus is when it's placed on a grade, if it's placed on the circle with the grade 1. If your Vanguard's grade 2 or greater, Counterblast 1, search your deck for the grade 3 version of herself. And then if your Vanguard has Nebula Knight, it cannot be retired by your opponent's card effect. And then we have Voluntary Nebula Knight Corneus, so the grade 3 version. When it's placed on the circle that has the grade 2 on it, you can call the grade 1 version from your drop zone to a back row rearguard circle. And then if your Vanguard is grade 3, you can Soul Blast 1. So look at the top 2 cards of your deck, put a card into your hand, put the rest on top or bottom. I think this translation is wrong because it definitely says Soul Blast 1 on here.
It definitely says Soul Blast 1, yeah, and it's not there.
And I
when you said it, I didn't read it there, but I looked at the card and immediately saw it there, and I'm like, okay, well.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I saw a different translation of it that says top or bottom, but I'll double check.
Okay.
All right, time to go to Kyrus's Twitter as always. Thank God.
When it attacks, if you have a Vanguard with Nebulite in its card name, it gets power plus 5,000. And end the turn, choose a grade 2 with Cornelius for name from your drop and call it to this unit's rearguard circle. So it always downgrades back to the grade 2.
Yeah, so it always downgrades back to the grade 2. And yes, the other translation I saw said top or bottom, which makes sense considering the whole point of this deck.
Can you zoom in on the card for me? Can you zoom in on the image?
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be top or bottom.
Yep. I love our bot. It's going great. It's a good thing I just already knew its effect because, you know,
because like if you it has the characters for that in there.
Yeah,
like I just looked for those and I was like, oh, they sure are there.
And like I had already read another translation, so it was like, yeah. So yeah, you put it on a circle with the grade 2, you call back the grade 1, and then you can stack your deck, and then it goes back down to the grade 2.
I've played a lot of Weiss, so I can fake read these the Bushiroad card text.
Nice.
Because I played Japanese Weiss, so I had to be able to fake read cards a little bit.
I'll figure that out eventually. You think after going to Japan, I would have bothered learning the language at least a little bit?
No, it's because I played Weiss, so I constantly looked at Japanese cards. That's the only reason.
Yeah. I've been watching anime for over a decade. Surely I've picked up a little Japanese by now, right? Right?
Kono Kado.
Yeah. So we have Path of the Nebula Knights, Grasped by the Sea of Stars. And just to get ahead of it, this is a promo. Mandatory promo for a deck. So it can be played from the drop zone, bind it, then perform one of the following. Look at the top 7 cards, call one with grade less than or equal to your Vanguard, shuffle your deck. Cool. That's generic, by the way. And then if your Vanguard is Nebula Knight, you can instead counterblast 1, look at the top 3, put 1 to hand, put 1 on top, and then discard the last one. And then if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, choose 2 rear guards and they get 5k.
So they really want you to play this with Nebula Knight and not really anything else.
Yeah. But if you play it in anything else, you just get to look at top 7 and call one, which is for free. Which is still like a pretty good...
I guess.
Why is the grade 3
thing? It could just be a thing you'd rather call anyway.
Yeah.
Which makes it kind of like...
Yeah. I mean, like, it's a way for you to incorporate the order package if you're willing to wait until grade 3. But like, we already have 15 ways to use the Keter pile. So we have Nebula Knight of Phantasmic Edition. What are these names? Formula. So when it's discarded from your hand during your turn, which the grade 1 Corneas does, if your Vanguard is Nebula Knight, you can call it to rearguard circle, and if you do, it cannot attack. And then if your Vanguard has Nebula Knight, you can put it into your soul, look at the top card of your deck, put it on top or bottom. And then now, after all of that, we finally get the grade 3 Sirius. How does our bot decide to order things anyways? So Sparkling Nebula Knight Lord Sirius. So cost, return 2 cards with Nebula Knight in their name to the bottom of your from drop zone to the bottom of the deck. Choose a rearguard with Nebula Knight. Search your deck for a Nebula Knight that is grade +1. Call it to the chosen rearguard circle. Shuffle, and then on attack, counterblast 1. stand the column of Nebula Knights, and then if you Persona Road, you can discard a trigger to your hand to look at the top cards of your deck equal to the number of your Nebula Knights, and I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be top or bottom, but we can double check that. But, you know, it has the fromage ability where you discard a card, stack your top deck equal to the number of Nebula Knights. And then finally, we have Cavalry Nebula Knight Hajena. So during your turn, if your rearguard was retired or put into the soul during the main phase, it gets 5k, or if your opponent's grade 3, 10k. And then when it attacks a Vanguard while boosted by a Nebula Knight, Soul Blast 1, discard a card from your hand, reveal the top card. If it's a trigger, bind the front row. If it's not a trigger, bind the back row. And then you can stack the revealed card. So this deck is like Battle Sisters plus Time Leap, sort of. Because, I don't know, it's this weird mixture of like sort of Time Leap, because like the grade 3 can like upgrade one of your rear guards, but then also like sort of Jewel Knight kind of thing where the rear guards all have a benefit from you like stacking on top of them. Like, it's a neat concept. The problem is all of your cards that do anything tell you to discard. So you're going to be playing with like 5 cards in your hand, despite being...
Hello? Okay.
Hello?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Like, pause for a second.
No, my internet's been spotty recently. I don't know if it's me or if it's you. But yeah. I mean, like, this is a cool concept. I like androgynous lady knights. I like Battle Sisters in general. So, like, I'm interested in it as just, like, a cool thing. That being said, I don't think the deck's actually all that good right now.
Yeah.
And we're going to get to Daikaiser eventually.
Poggers.
Oh yeah, I guess we got revealed that Minerva is in this set. So Battle Sister Coco is now a $30 card.
They got Tony Taka back on it?
Yep.
Of course. He's got to draw that same face every time.
Every time. Oh yeah, and we're getting a new Drajeweled, so... Yay. Okay. Next up, for the Tuesday stream from last week, we're getting Sybil, which we already knew was going to be in this set. So if you don't watch the anime, Sibolt was like the main bad guy, and it just used Varga in the anime because the ending of Divine Season 2 was like super rushed and bad. But we now have Sibolt as an actual card, which is kind of cool. So we have Unison Dragon Sibolt, which is the starter. Look at him. He's just like a little guy.
That is cute.
Yeah. Next, we have Boy aspiring to join the Protectors, Sparod. So when it's placed by riding on top of Sibolt, you reveal a grade 3 Sibolt from your ride deck. Search Sparod and Sibolt, who we once were, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle. And then next, we have the grade 2 Distorted Heart Sparod. When this unit attacks, retire a rearguard, reveal a grade 3 with Sibolt, draw a card, and this unit gets power plus 5,000 until the end of that battle.
Sure.
And then we have Malworm Sibolt, so he's evil now.
Oh my god.
You know. Okay, so the anime backstory is the guy, Sparod, dies at some point, and then Sibolt becomes evil because of it. So, act, you sold last one, choose up to the same number of your rear guards as your opponent's Vanguard's grade, and until end of turn, they become mentally polluted, and at the end, and they get the ability, at the end of the turn, retire it, power plus 5,000. Then, once per turn, at the end of the battle, it attacks a Vanguard, you can counterblast one, choose a rear guard with mental pollution, or one of your Vanguards, and stand it. Its drive becomes 0, and it gets power plus 10,000. If your Vanguard's grade 3 or greater, choose 2 instead of 1. And then, once per turn, when a rearguard in the mental pollution state is retired, draw a card. So next up, we have the order that was referenced earlier. So play it if you have Sparod or Sibolt as your Vanguard. Put it into your soul, choose one of your Vanguard, and it gets red text. When your unit without Sentinels retire from rearguard circle, other than during the main phase, put it back to your hand. And then, from the drop zone, when your grade 3 or greater unit with Sibolt in its name is stood the card's ability, you can bind it from the drop zone and discard a card to make its drive become 1.
Sure. Okay, so this tells me a lot about what the level 3 does.
Yeah.
Or sorry, grade 3.
Yeah, so, the grade 3 mentally corrupts your rear guards.
Yeah.
They die in the end phase and get power, and then the order bounces one of them back to your hand. You get a draw from one of them dying, and then you can re-stand one of them or himself.
And then you get one drive back, so you get an extra drive.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot. That's a lot of cards.
Yeah, it's like pretty decent.
Yeah.
It's like Varga by way of great nature is how I described it in our
it's kind of a really complicated way to get to the same thing that everyone else does, but it works.
Yeah, like Sibolt can kind of use some of Varga support because it can make use of the grade 2, which has the like Energy Blast 2 to return something to your hand when it's retired. But other than that, none of the Varga cards really work with Sibolt. Like I would have expected. Like, thematically, because of how it played in the anime, it's interesting that it kind of has that thematic tie to Varga by restanding the Vanguard. And, like, the mental corruption thing is, Sibolt's gimmick in the anime. So that is, like, translated over to the card, where you drive all your rear guards crazy so they get a bunch of power and then die.
Definitely jump scared by the Gintoki profile picture.
Yeah, same. And then
like, what the?
But yeah, like thematically this card is really cool. Like I like that it plays similar to Varga. I wish it did a better job of making use of some of Varga's support, like either having the Malworm state or just because Sibolt was the antagonist for Divine Season 2, it would have been interesting if they gave this a divine skill of some sort. Just as a thematic tie. But I also can't complain about it too much. I think this is a neat card.
Do we know what the English word they choose for mental pollution is?
I think it is mental pollution because this was on the Tuesday stream, so
that's horrible.
Yeah.
They could pick something else.
Yeah, this was on the Tuesday stream, so we do just have like these reveals translated in English. I believe they did use mental pollution.
Yeah, I don't like that one so much, but it's okay.
Yeah. Let me double check. Yep, mental pollution is what they put on their official Twitter, so I'm going to assume that's what it is.
All right.
And then for the rest of the support, we have a grave 1 when it becomes mentally polluted. It gets when it's retired from rearguard circle, put into soul and power plus 5,000. Sure. Probably not making the cut. We have this one where when your unit in the same column stand, if it's mentally polluted, stand it. We have this one from Drop Zone. If you play a normal order and you have a Unison Dragon Vanguard, you can counterblast 1, call it to rearguard circle. This also works randomly with Gryandra, the random card from set 2 that no one remembers. That's kind of cool. And then during your turn, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, all of your Unison Dragons get power plus 5,000. Then if it's in the mental pollution state, it gets he himself gets 5,000.
All right.
Like, this is a pretty good one. Like, a recurring body if you can't recover it with the order, and then gives power to your Vanguard and itself. Next, we have Desolate Flare Dragon. If you have a Unison Dragon Vanguard, gets all of the following. When it's placed on rearguard circle, counterblast 1, check top 7, choose either a Unison Dragon or a normal order that's not a Regalis piece. Reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle. If you didn't reveal, draw a card. And then on attack, it gets 5k until end of battle. Then you can Energy Blast 3, choose a rearguard, and it gets, when retired, put it into your hand.
Sure.
Yep. So the general gameplay loop of Sybil is like, you're going to mentally corrupt your units, and then Desolate Flare can return something to your hand, the order can return something. You have this card that can kind of recur itself every turn, so the general idea will be that you recoup all of the cards that would kill themselves from the mental pollution, and then you also kind of get to plus a little bit from the end phase draw. And then the other thing you can do is there's all sorts of cards like Shenri and Midhot that also just retire themselves mid-battle. So if you give them the mental pollution, they'll get retired. They usually recoup themselves, and then you'll draw a card off of Sybil. So that's another way for the deck to kind of plus. So yeah, all in all, it's a pretty cool deck. I like it. And like Velar says, you can also use Dragveda in this, because restanding the Sybil really doesn't do anything too bad, because the once per turn effect is at the end of the battle, so if you restand it off of Dragveda, you can just wait until the second swing to trigger it again and stand a third time. But yeah, this was really cool. Looking forward to it. I'm definitely picking it up. We'll see if Atlas decides to also pick it up, because it is pretty great nature coded. Anything interesting from the regular reveals? I don't think there was. I guess this card can randomly make its critical become 2. That's kind of cool.
Hog.
All right, and now for the thing everyone is waiting for.
Finally.
New Die Kaiser, PogChamp.
All right, we got Quarter Kaiser here? Yeah, sure, yes. Whatever, just a starter. Yeah. It doesn't look that cool. I'm not into this one.
We have Dimensional Robo Kaiser Greater.
Classic. It's placed on Van. Search your deck for one base card, reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle your deck. Sure, whatever. When this unit is placed on rear from your soul due to your card's ability, spoiler alert, if your Vanguard is great 3 or higher with Die Kaiser in its name, until end of turn, all your Vanguards in this unit get power plus 5,000. All right, sure, whatever.
Neat. We're reprinting Die Base, so if you don't remember anything from Die Yusha, the gimmick was the base orders let you scout out D-Robo names and put them into your soul, and then you call them back out of the soul using various card effects. And now we have to explain the Legion mechanic.
D-Legion. D-Legion is the same as Legion, but with abilities change. Oh my god. So if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, use this by taking up to 2 triggers that are neither heal nor over, along with non-trigger cards for a total of 4 cards from your drop, and return it to deck. This is the dumbest, it's so annoying. Anyways, your original Vanguard becomes the Legion leader, and the new Vanguard becomes the Legion mate, and both are put side by side on the Vanguard circle. We've never seen this before. Yeah. The power of why is this a Legion? Anyways, the power of the Legion leader and mate are both added together, along with the card's name and abilities from the both of them. During your opponent's turn, only the Legion leader's power is referenced. Drive and critical are based on the Legion leader's values. And please note that the Legion leader and Legion mate lose the Persona Ride icon as long as D-Legion is in place. It's a lot of balancing.
Yeah.
They should let you put back the overtrigger, I think. I think that'd be funny.
Yes, I think it would be really great to be able to guard for 50k, then shuffle it back, and then get double power and critical on everything.
That seems good to me. I mean, it would get so much power because it would get both of them. Oh no, it would just be the one, right? Because you target one.
I think it's all front row.
Oh, it's all front row. Oh, never mind. Yeah, it would be a lot. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So then we have Dimensional Robo Kaizards. This is the grade 2. Act Vanguard Circle. When your opponent's Vanguard is grade 2 or greater, you can discard a card, choose a Super Dimensional Robo Daikaiser from your ride deck, ride it as stand. And if you rode, for the rest of the fight, you cannot ride cards without Dimensional Robo in its name. So basically, if you go second, you can do this.
Yeah.
And then auto, when Road Bomb Pie grade 3 with Daikaiser in its name, you call it to rear. And if your Vanguard is grade 3 or higher with Daikaiser in its name, it gets boost. Sure. Okay.
Cool.
And then we have Super Dimensional Robo Daikaiser, the man himself, along with the D Legion with Super Dimensional Robo Dayusha, who are not shaking hands in the Legion. So
I know, right?
Not sure what they're thinking here. So auto, actually I know why this is a Legion, but it's still stupid. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So auto Vanguard once per turn. When this unit attacks, if you did not boost during this battle, you can Energy Blast 3. Until end of turn, this unit gets auto at the beginning of the drive step. Choose one of your opponent's guardians without over and retire it. Then, if your bind zone has no Dimensional Robo Core Kaiser, bind a Dimensional Robo Core Kaiser from your soul, and this unit gets when your opponent's unit is retired from Guardian Circle from this unit's ability, nullify all of that unit's abilities with cannot be hit. So it just kills perfect guards in a very complicated way.
Also, notably, the way this card works is that on attack, you have to pay the cost, and then it gets the red text, which means it's going to be completely telegraphed when you activate the Sentinel Break ability that you can only do once per game.
Yeah, I don't like that. Well, all right, but hear me out. What if you play... Oh, no, because you can't have any in bind zone. No, this is horrible.
Yeah, no, it's just like Dayusha, where you can only have the one Go Yusha in your bind zone, so whenever Dayusha restands, you can only have it regain drive checks once.
It's so bleak.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think Daikaiser is basically a side grade to the existing Dayusha, right? Like, the benefit that you get from playing it is that you can shuffle back triggers to crit your opponent more often in the nation that deck thins, and you get, like, once per fight, you essentially get a Sentinel Restrict, right? Like, basically, unless your opponent is willing to drop 4 cards for their Sentinels, like, they're just not gonna play it. Like, if they have the over trigger, they'll guard with that because it can't break over triggers. Or if they have Sanctitude because it's a blitz order that can't be retired, then that also blocks it. So otherwise, I would just conceptualize it the same way I conceptualize a Sentinel Restrict. And then you just have to, like, overguard a little bit so your opponent can retire one of your Guardians and it's still a 2 to pass. Or whatever you need to do to survive. But the trade-off for it is that you lose Persona Ride, and that's actually a pretty big trade-off because, you know, over the course of the turn, you're going to make 4 attacks, you're just losing 40k power. So, and now they had to errata Dayusha to work with the Legion, because before it was stand it and it gets drive -2, but now because it's a Legion and you're going to be restanding the Daikaiser along with it, they have to make it so all your Vanguards get drive -2.
I hate it here. No fun allowed.
Yeah. I guess I think it was Die Mariner was the one that gave the crit, but like there was a one that like gave your Vanguard or made your Vanguards critical too, and it just says the Vanguard. It doesn't specify any specific Vanguard, so I believe that works on Daikaiser.
It'd be choose one of your Vanguards now, right? This is annoying because they didn't think about this before, so now they have to like fake a bunch of how effects work.
Yeah,
that's funny.
I'm just going to assume it makes both of their criticals become 2, and then, sure, we'll just assume that works.
I mean, it doesn't matter. So, Dimensional Robo Spreader Nonoka. So, rear guard once per turn. If your Vanguard is grade 3 or greater with Dimensional Robo as card name, Soul Blast 1, rest this unit. Choose a normal unit with a different name from this unit from your drop and put it in the bottom of your deck. If you do choose one of your unit with Dimensional Robo its name, it gets power plus 5,000. Okay. Yep. So you can throw this behind Vanguard so you don't boost. Sure, whatever.
Yeah. But Also, you only get the guard break once anyways, and Dayusha's gonna restand, so probably
Yeah.
you just put Glory Maker behind the Vanguard. So
Oh,
you
just
boost
make it
once
huge.
with the guard break ability, and then the on restand you boost with Glory Maker to get the battle door.
Mm-hmm.
Like that makes
sounds
more
right.
sense.
Seems reasonable. All
Yep.
right. So we have Super Dimensional Robo Shadow Kaiser, which looks pretty sick art-wise, I will say.
Yeah, he looks cool. He's
All right,
like
so
standing in
action
front of the
drop.
moon.
If you have a Grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Die Kaiser in its name, and you do not ride this turn, you can Soul Blast 1, bind this card, search your deck for one card with Die Kaiser in its name, write it as stand, and shuffle your deck. If you have a Grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Die Kaiser in its name, this unit gets power plus 5,000. If your order zone has 3 or more bases, power plus 10,000 instead. And then, at the beginning of the guard step, if this is in hand, that your Vanguard with a Dimensional Robo in its name is attacked, you can put this in drop, choose one of the attacked units, and for this battle, gets 10k power. So it's a 10k shield that can fix your ride if you ride.
No, it's so you can re-legion.
Oh, so you can re-legion. Sure. So it lets you re-legion from drop. If you have it in play, it's large-ish.
Yeah.
And then it can be a 10k shield?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah.
It feels weird that it doesn't really care about grade 3s, right?
Yeah. Well, you do need to have like Die Kaiser, but
well, I mean, like, yeah, but no, it's no longer like looking to trigger a grade 3, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it
really
is
cool though.
Yeah, it really is just like, okay, sometimes you can re-legion, so you put critical triggers back in your deck.
They should let you put the over trigger back. Could you imagine guarding with the over trigger 3 times in one game? That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Can you imagine just like returning 4 heals every time you Legion and making the game go for like 50 turns?
That's what I thought everyone liked about Legion.
God. All right. A bunch of shit that no one cares about, and
perfect.
All right. Why is this out of order again? Okay, so we have the starter, and then I'm trying to figure out where the fuck the grade 1 and the grade 2 are. That's the grade 2 of the ride line. Where the hell is the grade 1? Why is this all out of order? Okay, so the grade 1 is when it's rode on top by a grade 2. Discard a card and reveal a grade 3 Sky Ruler. Search your deck for a grade 1 without Sentinel, power 6,000 or less, call it to Rearguard Circle. So the thing you're supposed to search out is Follower Rabbits. It gets 1,000 for each of your rear guards with the same name, including itself. And then you can pay the cost by Counterblast 1, discard a card. If you do, so you can search for 3 cards instead of 1. When placed, discard 1 card from the top of your deck. You may reveal a grade 3 with Sky Ruler, and if you do, or your Vanguard is a grade 3 with Sky Ruler in its name, discard a card from your hand, search your deck or drop for 1 Follower Rabbit, and call it to Rearguard Circle. If you shows your deck shuffle, and again, you can pay an alternate cost to search 3 instead of 1.
All right.
So this is something that you can immediately, because the ride line searches it out, just dump onto the field, and it makes an 18k column. And if you wanted to pay the counterblast, you can just make 2 18k columns and have really good early game, I guess. And if you decide to play that one order that like boosts up all of your 5k power units, then you can make it a 38k column. Cool.
Sure.
Next, we have the grade 2. When it's rolled upon by Sky Ruler, Soul Blast 1, check top 5, discard 1, shuffle, then choose a grade 2 or less from drop zone, call it to Rearguard Circle. And then we have Belger the Sky Ruler. During your turn, if you have 10 or more cards in drop, plus 5,000, 20 or more, 15 instead of 5. Act, Counterblast 1, look at the top 2 cards. Put 1 into your hand, discard the rest. End of the battle attack, Counterblast 1. Choose the column, stand it, or if your opponent's grade 3 or greater and you have 15 or more cards in your drop, stand everything, except for himself. Stand all your rear guards.
Okay.
And then practice Mustela. When plus on guard circle, if you have a Sky Ruler, Soul Blast 1, 5k shield. If it has 15 or more in drop, 15k shield.
Okay.
Thruster Vixen, the card that is not thrusting in the artwork because she is using a whip.
Interesting name.
Yeah. Anyway, some furry out there is very happy right now. When it's placed on rearguard circle except by the ability of a unit card, retire a rearguard with a different name from this unit. Search your deck or drop for one card with the same name as this unit, call it a rearguard circle. If you search your deck, shuffle it. At the start of your battle phase, if you're grade 3 or greater Sky Ruler, discard a card from your hand until the end of your opponent's turn, 5k powered shield, and then if your drop has 15 or more cards, it gets an additional 5/5. And then the bear. If you have a Sky Ruler and your drop has 10 or more cards, it gets boost and power plus 5,000. Okay, so this is like the first reveal in a while that has sparked zero interest from me whatsoever. Like, admittedly, it was 6 a.m. on a Tuesday when I first read these cards, but like the more I looked at just everything in these reveals, the more I wanted to just go back to sleep. This is the most boring ass card I have ever read in my life. The only thing that is vaguely interesting about this is the rabbit because of its ability to just swarm the field.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, it's basically, it's not a new card. It's not like a card we haven't seen before. We've seen it before in like Nubatama, or sorry, Murakumo, but like, it's nice to see a modern one.
Yeah. Like, we have, like, okay, you can swarm the field with rabbits and rush your opponent really good. That's, like, the only vaguely interesting thing about this deck. The rest of it is just like, okay, you self-and when you have 15 cards, you can restand the board. Like, whatever. If you play Nectar of Sensationalism, it'll go real hard, I guess. Anyways, the more interesting thing, we're getting new energy cards for the original cast. That's cool.
Nice.
I want the Misaki one. You know, OTT guy.
I hear you.
I'll also take the Kamui one. I like Kamui. He's a cool guy.
Look at him like pretending to study.
I know, right? He's like in a coffee shop getting served. He's totally focused.
Yep. Totally is looking at what he's writing.
Yeah. And he's definitely writing something relevant and not just like doodling the Nova Grappler logo or something. Oh yeah, and there was a Bravern collab, so we're getting that next week.
Hold on, that's sick actually.
Yeah. I need to go watch the stupid gay super robot anime already. I still haven't actually done it. Is this anything interesting? You can reveal Persona Shield tickets and then choose up to the same number of grade 2 or less units revealed, and they get auto when it's retired from guard circle, put into your soul. Sure. I don't know why we're printing Persona Shield support specifically, but sure. Okay, and then for this Thursday stream, why is it out of order again? We got Heart Lulu, so this is like an amusement park themed deck. So we have the starter. So aside from being the D starter, it is also Happy Toys. It is a happy toy for the kids. I'm not going to do that again because my throat is already fucked from talking for 50 minutes. So we have Merry-Go-Round Soldier, Nachu Nachu. When it's placed on the cute teddy bear, you can reveal Heart Lulu, search your deck for toys are for kids. Reveal it, put it to your hand, shuffle your deck, and then in the center back row circle, when it's placed by card ability, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater and your bind zone does not have the starter in it, Counterblast 1, bind the starter. Search your deck for one toys are for kids, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle your deck, and it is a happy toy.
Sure.
So toys are for kids, the order. If you have a Happy Toys Vanguard or your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Heart Lulu, it gets all of the following abilities. When it's put into the order zone, check top 5, grab 2 Happy Toys, reveal it, put one into your hand, put the other into soul. And then you can rest 2 cards with the same name to choose a Happy Toy from your drop zone and put it into your soul.
Okay.
Then we have Coaster Shark. So when it's placed on top of the Nutcracker guy, you can reveal Heart Lulu, grab the order. They're just printing this for every order deck where you need multiples. Oh, also, important thing. This is a grade 1 order.
Oh, huh.
And then auto front row right rear guard circle. It has to be specifically the right side.
Sure.
At the end of battle, attacks a rear guard. If your order zone has toys or for kids, and it was placed from Soul this turn, Soul Blast 1, restand it.
Okay. Really looking for the grade 3 to give some amount of power or something.
Yep. It is a happy toy. So during your turn, if your order zone has 3 or more toys or for kids, front row gets power plus 5,000. And just remember, the order is a grade 1, so you can actually have 3 cards going first.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike half of the other decks that have the same requirement. So act Vanguard Circle once per turn, Energy Blast 3, choose a happy toy from your soul equal to the number of the orders you have in your order zone, column to rearguard circle. And then on attack, Counter Blast 1, perform all of the following based on the number of orders you have. 2 or more, restand one of your happy toys and it gets power plus 10,000. 3 or more, it gets 5k and drive plus 1. And then 4 or more, you restand another happy toy in your front row and it gets power plus 10,000.
Okay.
For the other toys, we have Giant Fua Fua. So when it's placed on rearguard circle, Soul Blast 2, choose a toy art for kids from drop or damage, put it into your hand. If you put it into the damage zone, damage yourself. And then the front row right circle, specifically the right one, when it's stood by the ability of Heart Lulu, it gets continuous during the battle attacks if your opponent will call 2 or more, and power plus 10,000. And
this is the same place as the shark, front right.
Yep.
Interesting.
We have Shiny Bunny. So when it's placed on rearguard circle, if you have the order, look at the top 3 cards, choose 1 card from among them, put it into your soul, shuffle your deck. This is anything, by the way, not just happy toys. And then specifically the left back row circle, when your happy toy in the same column stands, stand it, and then if you do, at the end of the turn, retire it.
Okay, so it's only back left.
Yeah, so we have the Toy Kaiju Babelos. So when it's placed on rearguard circle, if your order zone has the order Counter Blast 1, draw a card. If your opponent's grade 3 or greater, it gets 5k. And then when it's stood by the ability of your grade 3 or greater hand guard on the left side circle, it gets critical.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And then we have Block Horse. So the back right circle, it gets intercept and can intercept from the back row. And then if you have the order, it gets shield plus 5,000.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah. So, the theme of this deck is that it is an amusement park deck made for kids. And the deck tells you exactly how you are supposed to play it and where you put the circle and what circle to put it on, as if you are a child, which I think is very funny. Other than that, I do think the deck is actually pretty strong. Like, the order just searches the top 5 and deck thins 2. The ride line is going to thin out at least 2 copies of the order. Like, you have the ability to recur cards and build a board by like cycling cards from your drop zone into your soul. So if they get retired or you guard with them, you can just put them back and call them back out with Heart Lulu's ability. Because the order is a grade 1, you are able to get the 3 orders for plus 5k to your front row right away instead of having to wait till like turn 4 for it, which is very good. And then everything that restands gets power plus 10,000 on top of the beneficial effects like getting the Battle Door and 10k or getting a crit. So yeah, I think this deck is pretty crazy. The only thing is that like you only get a couple of draws for all of the cards that you're going to have to invest into like building your board and playing. So hand size is probably going to be a little weak, but that's like everything. So if Atlas doesn't play Sybil, he's definitely playing this because this is basically Dark State's Undercover. And yeah, I believe that is all of the reveals. Next week we are getting Ezel.
Oh my god, not Ezel.
So yeah, managed to go almost an hour from me reading all the new cards because I had like 3 weeks worth of cards to catch up on.
I only read the important ones, which is Daikaiser.
Yeah, Daikaiser itself. I don't know. I think Glory Maker's like a $30 card. I don't feel like buying into the DP hype. At this point, everyone and their mother is going to play Daikaiser because it's basically a meme in our community.
Daikaiser's pretty cool, but I like the old Daikaiser more. This one's a little new to me, but it's okay.
Yeah, I think the card's fine. I think it is in the exact same place it is right now, which is a fairly competent rogue deck that will sometimes OTK you because you have a Vanguard that restands that has a crit on both swings.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very interested in Sybil. That looks like a cool deck. I will play Nebula Knight because I like the aesthetics and the gameplay style, even though I think the deck is actually bad. I have already forgotten about the bird. It has just been deleted from my mind. And I'd also be interested in playing Heart Lulu. That deck just... Sometimes you need a brain dead deck that just wins the game, and that looks like the kind of deck that does that. You know, it is a deck that literally tells you where to put everything, so you cannot play it wrong. So, yeah.
I think I could find a way.
So, yeah, that's probably going to be it for this stream. Where can we find you on this social medias?
At Wiggums, 2Gs on Blue Sky or Hell.
Yeah. You can find Atlas on Blue Sky, Instagram, at Atlas Novak. He also has a YouTube at The Epileptic Comic. He also does Generation Dan, his podcast. You can find this channel at Nexus at Night in all the places. You can find me personally at Plasma Eclipse in Hell, or I guess if I eventually post a Blue Sky, I am Beerus Ruticus. And yeah, that is probably going to be it for this stream. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.